at least 7 conservative anti-mask, anti-vax conspiracy theorists, radio hosts have died of COVID. And while we don't believe in relishing in those deaths, one of those hosts who recently died is really testing that commitment. Please meet Bob Enyart. He is a Christian radio and TV host who was known for mocking people who died of AIDS and has died of COVID-19 at the age of 62. Denver Bible Church pastor Bob Enyart made local headlines last year when he sued his state over its mask mandate, and then this year when he called for a boycott of the COVID-19 vaccines. A pastor at the Denver Bible Church, and Enyart made the families of people who died of AIDS angry in the 1990s when he would gleefully read their obituaries on his show, Bob Enyart Live, call them sodomites, and then play Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. There are photos of him reading these obits, just happy. And now he's dead. Both he and his wife got COVID and recently as a few weeks ago, and they are dead now. And look, I don't relish in it, but I will say good riddance, honestly, because that man is trash.
I get the temptation to gloat. I get the temptation to take some satisfaction at his death. I think the unfortunate thing is, progressives and Democrats, I think we realize that even the Bob Enyarts of the world are somebody's father or grandfather or uncle or son. And those family members, the rational ones, probably already had such a problem with who this guy turned out in terms of being a human being. And now that he's dead, it's even sort of worse because it's sort of like, look, his life could have been so much better. And so I get the temptation to sort of relish and sort of enjoy and take some satisfaction about the chickens coming home to roost. But I think at a certain point also, we as Democrats and progressives have to say, okay, these are still human beings who had family members. And maybe the way to somehow try to get across to some of these folks is to show, I guess, some compassion to their family members who certainly realize that these people made a mistake.
Sure, but just for some context about those family members and a little bit of pushback, Enyart was convicted of beating his wife's 7-year-old son in 1994 so hard with a belt that he broke the child's skin. He remained a strong proponent of spanking children, saying that, quote, kids' hearts are lifted when they're hit. Obviously, he also protested massively against reproductive rights. He thought that Planned Parenthood was doing child killing. He wants babies, I guess, to be born so he can then hit them and lift their hearts. David, I totally disagree. This guy is better not spreading this much hate.
You convinced me. He was pure evil. I'm not gonna say I'm glad he's dead. But I do think society is better with him no longer part of it. And certainly his family is better with him no longer around.
I mean, yeah, and look, yes, obviously he was loved by somebody, but let's be real. Like Republicans talk about and conservatives talk about natural selection all the time, survival of the fittest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we should be able to say that once in a while. Look at COVID and look at the people that it's taking. Look, especially, and again, when it comes to individuals, I like who are not, forward-facing, radio hosts. I do not relish in those folks and their death at all. I think they are a product of a lot of misinformation, but they're the product of the misinformation being spread and the hatred being spread by people like this guy, by Bob Enyart, right? Who spread all these lies, was a crazy raging homophobe. And I say, goodbye, good night, and good luck.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.